Hi everybody, my name is Sandy Mill. I'm Admissions Director at Sidney Sussex College at the University of Cambridge. As many of you are probably aware, the admissions process for the University of Cambridge is a little bit different to pretty much every single university in the country. So in the course of this video, part of our Access Sidney series looking at every part of the admissions process, what we want to do is give you a bit of a roadmap as to how everything is set out, what you need to do and when, all of the stages that will be coming up if you are thinking of making an application to us this year. So I'm going to kick things off kind of with the roadmap as it is right now. Now that we are in July as at the time I'm recording this, many of you will probably be well on the way to choosing your courses and your colleges. And that really is the first step of the application process, running up towards the UCAS application date of the 15th of October. And that is probably the most important date overall. All applications to Cambridge or to Oxford University in any subjects must be received by the 15th of October by UCAS. And if you're applying for medicine, dentistry or veterinary studies at any university in the country, that date also stands. There are some extra little hurdles that you kind of have to go through as part of the Cambridge process as well. The SAQ, written work, admissions assessments, and the interviews, and we'll cover all of those very briefly in this video. There will be standalone videos for many of these aspects as well, going into full depth on the Sidney Sussex YouTube channel, so you can get even more information about each of these individual stages. So, let's kick things off with those first steps. As we said, course choice is the most important thing. There is a video up on our YouTube channel about that right now. It will affect where you're applying to. You need to make sure that you're picking a course that does all the things that you want to do and that teaches in the way that you want to learn. You need to make sure as well that you've checked the requirements for your subject to make sure that you meet any prerequisites, and at the same time make sure you're aware of any assessments that you're going to need to register for. We'll come back to that when we talk about those assessments, but it is your responsibility when you make your application to register for any pre-interview assessments that you need to take, whether those are internal to the university, such as our ones for natural sciences, or whether they're external ones, such as the BMAT or the UK CAT, if you're applying to study medicine. In terms of college choice, it is well worth looking through a lot of the college websites, visiting if you're able to when things are open again, to get a feel for the colleges. But the most important thing is that not all colleges do offer every single subject, so make sure that you check the university website. In addition, different colleges may have slightly different admissions requirements. Some of them may require different amounts of written work or a slightly different assessment to another. So make sure when you're choosing your college and when you have chosen your college that you're aware of any college-related differences in that admissions process. And I'm going to repeat this again, the most important date is the 15th of October. All applications must be received by 6 p.m. UK time, otherwise they will not be accepted. And that is a hard deadline set by UCAS. It's not just internal to the University of Cambridge. You need to make sure that you meet that deadline, and preferably, to my mind, try and get it in at least a day before, just so you can feel a little less anxious, more certain that you know it's gone in on time, you've received any confirmation emails, and you can be happy and secure in the knowledge that your application is in on time. The worst thing I can think of, I wouldn't want any student to go through this amount of stress and heartache, is if that application goes in 20 seconds too late and won't be accepted, and that's kind of it for the year. You either have to basically, say, okay, well, my application to Cambridge or for medicine won't be going in this year and reapply next year, or give up on that dream altogether, potentially. Neither of those are great options. So make sure you hit that deadline, please. So pre-interview assessments are one of the next stages after that application deadline. These typically for Cambridge take place in late October or early November, depending on where they fall in any given year. The most important point at this stage is that it is your responsibility to make sure that your school registers you for any pre-interview assessments that you need to take. So you need to make them aware that you need to take specific assessments and that they should be registering you for them, and chase them up to check that they have. It's not the school's responsibility to check these things. You can't assume that they know every assessment from every university or every college in Cambridge. So make sure you do that little bit of research yourself. It'll take you just a few minutes. Double check on the university's admissions assessments website. The link is up on the screen right now. and double check on the college websites as well, just in case there are any minor differences, although there shouldn't be for pre-interview assessments. Make sure that you are registered for those assessments. The one exception to this rule really is the step papers for maths. Those are done after your offer is made. So you don't need to worry about those just yet. But again, you will need to get yourself registered for those, or get your school to register you for those assessments if they are a part of the offer condition, and that is your responsibility to do so. So do that little bit of research, double and triple check, make sure you know exactly what you need to be registered for, if anything. If you have an at-interview assessment, you do not need to have anything in terms of pre-registrations. Those will be automatically scheduled into your interview day at the University of Cambridge, so you don't need to worry about registration for those if they apply in your subject. And a full list of which subjects have pre and at interview assessments is available on that webpage on the screen right now on the undergraduatestudy.cam.ac.uk website. Great resource for all admissions information for Cambridge. Some subjects, typically in the arts and humanities, ask for written work as part of an application. Basically, the reasoning behind this is we want to see if you can write, if you can structure an essay, an argument, get an idea as to your style, the way that you express your ideas. And that's why, particularly in the arts and humanities, we ask for these, because they are very essay-based subjects in the way that teaching and learning happens. You're going to be writing typically at least an essay a week and doing the associated research behind it as part of your supervisions and your lecture series. Each college may have slightly different requirements in terms of the written work that it asks for. So do check on their websites for what they would require. Typically, we would ask for a school essay as part of this. It could be something that you've done as homework or in a class. So it doesn't necessarily require you to do a bunch of extra work. However, it doesn't have to be. It could be something that you've chosen to write yourself. It could be something you've submitted as part of an essay competition, for example. Or there's nothing wrong with asking a teacher to say, can you send me an essay homework with this title, please? And then writing the essay based on that. So you get to pick and choose the topic in that way. The key is, though, it will need to be marked by a teacher before it is submitted to us. We want to see what your teachers think of the essay. We want to see that it is something that is definitely something that you have written as well. And that's part of the process in terms of checking that. So we do need to see teacher marks on it. So for example, it is an essay competition that you've done. You will need to give that to a teacher to be marked, and then that can be passed on to us for submission. If you have any questions regarding written work, do contact the admissions team at the college that you are applying for, and they will be able to give you specific information as to whether or not a certain essay is eligible or would count. And do bear in mind that typically there may be word limits in terms of the essays that you're able to submit. And that's purely from an administrative point of view, so we don't get, hundreds of 20-page essays to read through as part of applications. It takes a lot of time. What we're looking for is that a real snapshot of your ability when it comes down to your writing. Another part of the Cambridge admissions process, which you will need to bear in mind, is the SAQ, or Supplementary Application Questionnaire. Now, this is an additional form which is emailed to you after you have made your application and is due for return by the 22nd of October. You can find this form online right now. If you just search Cambridge SAQ on your favourite search engine, you'll be able to find it really quickly and really easily. And what it does is it's basically an opportunity for us to gain a bit more information about you as a candidate. So the sorts of things that we ask for a breakdown of the modules that you've studied. This means that when we bring you in for interview potentially, we can ask you questions relevant to what you've studied, and more importantly, not expect you to know something that you may not have studied at all, because different exam boards ask students to do different things. As well as that, we typically ask for a photo so we can see that the person who turns up for interview is the same person as has made the application, and that's the only use that we have for that. As well as that, there is space for a Cambridge-specific personal statement of up to 1,200 characters. This is your opportunity to really say why Cambridge in particular is a course that you want to apply to, or a place that you want to be. It could talk about a variety of things. It should be personal and down to you why Cambridge in particular appeals. As well as that, if you're applying for a course which may not be offered at other universities, such as natural sciences or land economy or Anglo-Saxon, Norse and Celtic, this can be an opportunity to show us why you've applied for that course when you may have applied to different courses at other universities, and your personal statement may reflect those a little bit more. So it's a great opportunity to really get into the nitty-gritty of why this course, why this university, what about it really appeals to you. This form, as I said, will be emailed to you. You should make sure that you check your spam filters in the email account that you apply with through the UCAS website. So make sure you check that email account, make sure you check the spam filters on that account. And if you don't receive that after the October 15th deadline, contact the college that you have applied to, and they will be able to send you the form to be able to be filled in and got back to you nice and quickly. Interviews are the final piece of the puzzle that is different to many other universities, and these typically take place in early December, mostly because that's when our students have gone down for the holidays, they've gone back home, so our rooms are free in order to be able to put people up overnight so that people can have a fair whack at the interviews. No one's going to be particularly tired from travelling long distances. It means they can be carried out in a fair and hopefully as relaxed a manner as possible. Now, we are a little bit uncertain as to how the interview process will run in 2020 currently. When I say that, there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes to make sure that interviews are able to happen in an accessible and an appropriate manner. And at the current time of recording, all that we can safely say is that in-person interviews will not be held in Cambridge this December. A statement will be following later on in order to inform all potential applicants of exactly how the process will work this year. And what we'll do is when that statement has come out, I will put up a video on these interviews, the process that will be happening this year, and how students can best prepare for them. So keep your eyes on the Sidney Sussex YouTube channel as we go through the summer into the early autumn. We'll make sure that that information is updated for you then. The most important thing with an interview, though, is it is not about what you know. What we're really looking to do is assess your potential, your aptitude, and your ability to learn within the supervision environment at Cambridge. Learning through discussion and dialogue, working with the interviewers to discover answers. If you knew everything before you came here, there'd be no point in you coming to university at all. In fact, for academics, if they knew everything, they wouldn't have a job. What we're looking for are people who are able to listen, take in new information, synthesize it, be open-minded and think their way around and through problems. So the best way you can prepare for those in brief, get talking. Talk about your subject to anyone who will listen. Work out problems, get people to set you tricky tasks, tricky questions, and find your way around those. Practice those skills that are going to show your potential and ability as a fantastic Cambridge student. But the more that you discuss, the better that you're going to find yourself in these situations, the more comfortable you're going to be talking about your subject, talking through your ideas out loud. More information will follow, so do be ready for it. And there are some fantastic guides online on the Cambridge website to kind of explain how the interview process is typically designed to work if you need those. The final stage in terms of our offer timeline is the decision. And those typically come out in early January. Date is to be confirmed at the time of recording, but it's typically within the first couple of weeks of January. And there is a set date each year, so you're not waiting and wondering when it's going to come through. There will be a set day that you will be told. And you will be told either way, whether you're offered a place at the college that you chose, whether you may have been offered a place at a different college through our winter pool system, or in the unfortunate result, it may be a rejection and a no from us, unfortunately. You will be informed either way. Different colleges will do it in slightly different processes, whether it is by email or by regular mail or both, but you will get that information. You'll also be told if you are eligible for the adjustment scheme at this point. Students will be notified on that day as well, and more information about that is available on the undergraduate study website. Your offer, if you do get one, will spell out the conditions of your offer, any grades that you will have to achieve, which may be in specific subjects. And for mathematics, they will also typically have a step condition as part of the offer, so certain grades that you'll have to get in those exams later on in the academic year. Past that point, if you do receive an offer, firstly, fantastic cause for celebration. The last step is meeting those grades. From January onwards, that January to August period, that's where your focus is going to be. And with any luck, you'll meet those offer conditions and be joining us come October time. So this has been a very brief run through the process. Do bear in mind that we'll be going into more details on most of those stages on this website, on this YouTube channel. www.youtube.com/Sidney Sussex College. And there'll be information coming as well on personal statements, both doing first drafts of those and in terms of redrafting those in the coming weeks. And as I also said, interviews will be covered a little bit later in the summer. Regardless, best of luck with your applications. Do your research. Make sure you get the information that you need. And I hope this video has been of some help for you. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much.